Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound. Let it resound. As the rolling sea. I like this part right here. Come on. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on. Let us march on till victory is won. Now we add a little something to it, just to encourage you. We're gonna take you to church right now. Let's go. We'll keep marching right until the victory is won. To all my brothers out there. Hold your head up, brother, till the victory is won. To all my sisters in the struggle. Keep believing, sister, till the victory is won. Till that day. Till that day comes. Hey. Let us march on. To victory. Till victory is won. Is won.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Marion. I can only believe that the Johnson brothers look down on all these beautiful ways in which Lift Every Voice is being lifted. And I hope you enjoyed that. So again, good morning, everybody. Let's get on with our meeting. Hopefully you received the meeting materials. I want to begin with a nomination and a second installation of officers. If you saw my meeting packet, you saw a notice of nomination. So this is pursuant to our bylaws and constitution that allow the executive board to nominate a replacement for an officer who has resigned. So we need to replace Dorothy Green as second vice president. We replace her with our thanks and gratitude. And we have nominated Rita Smith, who was our member at large, to be second vice president in charge of membership. And the board also nominates Harold Young as a member at large to replace Rita. So with that, I believe one of our former presidents has a motion.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to nominate Rita Smith to serve as second vice president and Harold Young to serve as member at large. I think both of these individuals are well qualified and will serve us well as we continue to build our organization.
Thanks, Jim. In a moment, I'm going to ask for a vote. Would you all unmute yourselves so our secretary can record your responses? Is there a second to Jim's motion?
I second it.
Second from Lois Wilkins. And I'll call the question. All in favor of Jim Stewart's motion to nominate Rita as second vice president and Harold as member at large, indicate by saying aye.
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 All,
Aye.
Aye.
aye. All opposes by a similar sign.
David, for the record, that was Lois Watkins, not Wilkins.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, it wasn't. It was Lois Wilkins.
Oh, I thought it was Lois Watkins. I'm sorry, Lois.
It was Lois Moore.
I thought I saw Lois Watson. My apologies. Sorry, Mrs. Wilkins.
All right.
Very good.
Too many Loises, too many
That's
Loises.
right.
Motion is approved, and then I would ask Mark Jackson, another of our former presidents, to handle the installation. Please mute your phones. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Dave. All right, the following two officers have been elected to serve a two-year term. Rita Smith as second vice president and Harold Young as member at large. As incoming officers, the highest honors of the organization are being bestowed upon you two. We have faith and confidence in your ability to lead the organization forward. The pledge of your office signifies your willingness to do this. Please repeat after me. I will, to the best of my ability,
I will, to the best of my ability,
My ability.
faithfully perform all duties
faithfully perform all duties
All duties
of the office to which I have been elected.
to the office to which I've been elected.
have been elected.
And this is to the audience. You have heard the pledge that your new officers have made. It is important that you and we support them in the performance of their duties. So concludes our inauguration.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mark, and welcome Rita and Harold.
Thank
We
you. Thank
so
you.
appreciate your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Let's move to our moment in history and our first vice president, Gary Giscombe.
Good morning, everyone. This morning, we're going to talk about 1960. We're going to talk about and show a video about what happened on February 1, 1960, when 4 young men from Greensboro, South Carolina came together and sat in at the Woolworths in Greensboro. The speaker who's here with us today is William Faulkner, and he was born in Greensboro. He was also witnessed the event and was unnoticed while he was in the room. And he will tell you about what happens there. Waldo is married to Rita Faulkner. He attended Franklin and Marshall College in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He holds a law degree from Columbia, as well as an MBA from Columbia. He's been an attorney primarily in the area of real estate. He currently lives in Brooklyn, and he's on the call from Brooklyn. He's a member of the National Guardsmen in Brooklyn. He's a member of the Reveille Club of New York City. And I would like to introduce you to, I was looking for his picture. Waldo Faulkner. Waldo, would you like to say something before I turn the video on? Must be muted. Unmute yourself.
Oh, yes, it's a pleasure to speak to you folks today and your group. I'm very much into the theme of what you're about. African American history is very important for everybody. And Gary, should I talk about the situation before you put the video on?
Yeah, go ahead, Waldo.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to give you a little bit of background. I was born in Greensboro, and in 1960, I was a junior in high school. My father at that time was on the city council in Greensboro. He was the only Black member. Now, Greensboro in 1960, second largest city in the state of North Carolina. It's located just west of center in the state. At that time, the population was 119,574 people, 74% white, 25.8% Black. So that sort of gives you an idea of, the population there. Greensboro was very unusual in one way. It was a college town. We had 5 colleges. We had North Carolina A&T University, State University, which is a state school. We had Bennett College, which was a small Black all-women's school. We had Women's College, which is now called UNCG or UNC Greensboro. It was the largest all-women's college in the country. We had Guilford College, which was a Quaker school, and we had Greensboro College, which was a Methodist school. So that sort of gives you some background about Greensboro. The 4 guys who were the lunch counter sit-inners were freshmen at A&T. They were very, very good friends. 2 of the guys I knew from Greensboro, and I knew about, their preparation for this sit-in. They were very much like, as Gary and I discussed, they're very much like a family. They were 4 guys who decided that something needed to be done, and they decided to do it. Now, the background to show you how courageous these guys were, because A&T was a state college, the presidents of all the HBCUs in North Carolina were appointed by the governor. So they were pretty much beholden to the governor. The president did not want the sit-in to take place because of his own reasons. They decided to go forward. Now, what I can testify to personally is that I found out about the sit-in, and after school, I went down to the Woolworths, and I'll give you a visual. The lunch counter is in the far right corner of the Woolworth. I was standing on the far left corner opposite the lunch counter. The folks in the place who did not want them to be sitting there didn't even notice me. They were so focused on these 4 guys. It started off slowly, and but after a while, there was a chant that was going on in the crowd. I'm going to just be very clean about it. Let's get these guys. Let's beat them up. Okay, you have an idea what I'm talking about. Now, I suddenly realized that, like the songster Dr. John from New Orleans, I was in the right place, but I was there at the wrong time, because these guys were going to proceed to beat up the 4 brothers who were sitting there. So as they moved in closer and closer to them, I'm now dealing with this question of, what do I do? The only thing I could have done was to jumped out, because I couldn't have gotten out anyway. But at the last minute, thank God, I heard this commotion toward the front. And when I stuck my head out a little bit to see what was going on, I noticed the crowd was parting. And who should walk in but North Carolina A&T's football team, led by the biggest guy down to the outstanding halfback. And they were in sequential size coming in. And they walked in single file. They stood there with their arms on their chest, looking at the crowd, nodded to them, and then nodded back to say, "We see you, we know who you are, and we can come back. If you touch our boys, you're gonna have to deal with us." And they walked out. Now, that part of the history never really got into the papers as such, but that was very significant, because I think that in effect ended up preventing the violence that would have otherwise taken place. Now, Joe McNeil, by the way, I spoke to Joe the other day. Joe was unable to be on the call. I really wanted to have him tell you firsthand, but Joe is not doing too well. He's got some problems, and he and his wife at one of the son's house, just resting. But he told me several years ago, he called me in the office and he was talking about the experience, and he said he was thinking about writing his history. And I said, well, Joe, you know, you really need to tell everybody about the incident when the football team saved you guys. And Joe said, well, how did you know? And I said, well, Joe, that day there were 5 Black people in the restaurant. And I said, I was on the opposite wall. And I said, you guys don't know how close you came to really getting the stuff beat out of you. So,
Okay, Waldo, I'm
yes.
gonna put it on now. I'm gonna put it on now, Waldo.
Okay, so that's the background for you.
We'll come back with some questions and more from Mr. Faulkner. All right, Gary.
Okay. Anybody got questions for Waldo?
I know that Bernadine Rice had, excellent. Bernadine had a question. Unmute yourself, Bernadine. I don't see your.
Okay, well, I'm muted now. Vincent has a question. Waldo.
Waldo, this is Benson Rice from Greensboro. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing.
You're muted, Waldo. You're muted, Waldo. Waldo.
Vincent, go ahead and ask your question. Ask your question.
I'm surprised.
Waldo and I grew up together in Greensboro along with Ezel Blair. And so Waldo and I were in the same clubs together, same group, and we grew up together. And I grew up with his sister called Peaches, and then I grew up with Cameron. My brother and Cameron were close friends, so I haven't seen Waldo in a few years. So he's done and I want to thank him for making this presentation. I'm going to give you a few follow-up. It's exactly what happened after the march. A few years ago, the Smithsonian came down and took the lunch counter that you saw there and moved it to one of the Smithsonian museums in Washington. Today, the original dormitory where all 4 of those young men lived has been torn down. And there are 4 separate dormitories in a group there that is named after each one of the Greensboro. Ezel Blair is still living, I know he is in Connecticut. Am I right, Waldo?
He is in New Bedford, I think that's Connecticut. Yeah, I think he is in, yes.
He's in there, and I don't know where Joe McNeil became a brigadier general in the reserves, the Air Force. And I don't know about Richmond or the, who was else there?
Franklin McCain.
Franklin McCain.
Yeah, Joe lives out in Hempstead, Long Island. Franklin, unfortunately, Franklin and David have passed.
Right.
David, the first to pass, and then Franklin passed just a couple of years ago, I think.
Right. Now, in front of that administrative building where they had their meetings at, they put up some statues of the Greensboro Fort to honor them, right on the main campus of Northland A&T. And they've been honored many times by the schools over the past few years. And but they did make I was there during the time of the demonstration, so and I can attest to everything Waldo is saying because I took part in that myself in the last couple of days that it was going on. But if there hadn't been for them making, those 4 freshmen making that decision to go and do that, no telling where we would have been today. So thank you. Thanks a lot, Waldo, for a very excellent presentation. And it's good to see you again after so many years.
Well, Vincent, it's good, very good to see you, man. It brings back old memories. In fact, I'm trying to reflect back on the last time we talked, but I'll have to get your phone number and I'll talk to you separately so we won't tie the folks up, okay?
Okay, and I just want to make one other thing. Waldo's father was very prominent in the school system there, and he was I think Waldo, he was the first African-American they named a school for in Greensboro. Your father?
He was the second, Dr. Hampton, first city council.
Right. So
Their family was very prominent in Greece. Thanks a lot, Walden. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Vincent. And Gary, I'll let you wrap and thank Mr. Faulkner.
Okay, Waldo, thank you very much. Next time you speak to Joe, tell him I said thank you, even though he wasn't able to be on the call. And I hope everyone got a chance to enjoy the video. I have the full length that covers 5 days. If anybody wants to see it, it's an hour long. And thank you, Waldo. Thank you, Rita, for letting Waldo use your computer. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Gary. Excellent. And again, thank you, Mr. Faulkner. Appreciate it very much.
If I can ask of you kind folks, I really like your organization, and I would like to participate, if that's possible, at your next meetings. This is very worthwhile, and for me to run into Vincent Rice, for God's sakes, I didn't expect to be so blessed.
Did you see? There's other folks on here that you know.
You're very welcome to join us, Mr. Faulkner, and Gary will get you the sign-in information. We look forward to having you join us anytime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and you folks take care.
All righty.
Take care.
Okay.
Thanks again, Gary. Well done. Let's move to our minutes. Fred, we distributed the minutes January 22nd.
Yes, the minutes have been distributed, and I assume to the entire body, and I now move that they be accepted, subject to future correction.
Second, Rita.
Second. Very good. Minutes will be read into the record, subject to any corrections or additions. Thanks, Fred. Alan, Treasurer's Report.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Can I talk briefly about the report? The numbers are fairly straightforward. Revenues were $18.20. The main items there were dues of $320, donation from a couple of donors for $500, and a check return from the State College of Florida for a student who received too much financial aid in the first semester. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen from time to time. Total revenue is $18.20. Expenses are the normal causes: dues of $29.40, miscellaneous expenses, storage unit, website, and the PO box, for a total expense of $4355.32. Profit is negative $2535, which also represents the change in our bank account for the month of January. And that's my report.
Thanks, Alan. Any questions? Very good. Then my report's going to be very, very brief, and it's going to focus on our gratitude to a number of people. I know this is dangerous because you're likely to miss somebody, but I did want to highlight a couple of important gifts we've received. We received $5,000 from Danny Lynch. Some of you knew his sister, Patricia Lynch Pepin. And so Danny has given an additional $5,000 to support that gift, and we appreciate it so much. Marcia and Hugh Smith have given a gift in honor of her mother, Antoinette Clifford Kindle, $1,000 gift. And again, to Marcia and Hugh, we are so grateful. Bill and Kay Watkins have given a $10,000 gift, and we are obviously very pleased with that addition to our Sneed Memorial Fund. And I would add, we had a very kind gift from a non-member, Peter Martinelli, a small gift. Actually, he was apparently someone had given him a ride and didn't want to accept any fee, so he asked them to make a donation to Asala. And so we thank Mr. Martinelli, and we thank any of you who are so inclined this morning to make a similar gift at any time. Let me also thank our members, Washington Hill, Randall Morgan, and Larry Miller. Some of you know they have been campaigning in the papers and through all other means to get COVID vaccinations to our communities, and they've done a phenomenal job. I was reading this morning, Dr. Hill has another editorial in the newspaper. So the Herald Tribune has been very supportive of those communications, and they're making an enormous impact and difference in our community. I am told that there is another pop-up opportunity at Light of the World Church. I believe that is this weekend, and Larry Lawson is nodding his acknowledgement, so we can get, and they are looking for people of color who may be struggling to find that opportunity to get that vaccine. So I know the NAACP in both communities has been very active. So our thanks goes out to, again, all of our members and to everyone who is really focused on getting our communities vaccinated. So if you know of anybody who needs that first shot and who's struggling to get it, please contact me, contact Larry Lawson, contact either of our doctors or Larry Miller for that purpose. You've seen a lot of communications from us over the last month. Obviously, it's Black History Month. You would expect to see that. We have been using a service for most of those communications as a replacement for Jim Stewart's listserv. We struggled with this new company, and we have now gone to a second, we think, better supported service, Constant Contact. And so you'll likely see less from us in March. You won't see something every day, but we do want to be sure that we are communicating with you and let us know if you are not receiving communications from us. We're doing our best to make sure that we are connected. And I want to give a special shout out to Marion Black Ruffin. Marion, as you know, is on our tech team along with Linda Crump and Lois Wilkins. But Marion has gone above and beyond in helping us manage our membership through this transition and our communications. And we just want Marion to get a little bit more sleep and cancel some of these commitments that she's making. Lastly, I want to thank Bill Watkins. Some of you will hear Bill has had some medical issues, and I'm going to leave that to Bo to share in his report. But I'm thanking Bill for his leadership in our strategic planning process. We are in phase 2 of that process, and we are just about completed our work with our planning, education, and scholarship committees. In phase 2, we're going to begin our work with the membership committee, the arts and culture. Bill has led us from the very beginning with an enormous amount of energy and insight. And we are where we are because of Bill's leadership. So I wanted to be sure that the membership knows that our former president is active and engaged, and we very much appreciate everything that he continues to do for us. So that's my quick report. Let me, if there are no questions, or if I have not mentioned someone I should in terms of a donation, Alan, of course, is going to keep me honest there. Let me move to correspondence with Marion.
Okay, I have just a few things. Cynthia and Murray Kelly joined membership, and Suzanne Payne also joined membership, and David Wilkins had a donation to us all. And that's the correspondence for this week. Thank you.
Thanks, Marion. Bo, you have a good and welfare report for us.
Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, I would like to ask for the help of the membership In order to get the good and welfare report, I need to depend on the members to feed me information concerning any situation concerning good things that happen to you or your family, as well as those things that are challenging. My report will begin with Bill Watkins, who has been hospitalized with an inflamed gallbladder, and his wife Kay indicates that he is in good so far as facing this challenge he's having. So he's prayerful and is asking for all of us to keep him in our prayers. The other one concerns Henry Blyton. Henry has just been released from the hospital. He had laparoscopic bowel recession, and he's at home recovering, and he's doing well. And Lillian Lambert, brother passed away, and we sent cards of condolences to Lillian concerning her brother. George Miles had a series of back surgeries over the last several months, and he's at home recovering and is doing very well. Now, those are the things that we need to be prayerful for that are challenging for our members. Now, one of the good things that has happened is Lois Watson is turning 16 again. She has a birthday coming up, and Bernard Watson is having a birthday also this coming week. So if you have an opportunity, wish Lois and Bernard a happy birthday. That's the end of my report.
Thanks, Bo. And Bernadine can correct me, but I think somebody in her household is also having a birthday.
Are we doing February birthdays?
Yes, you're correct, David. Vincent is having a very special birthday. 8 decades.
David, are we doing February birthdays?
Just a minute, Mark. Bernadine, go ahead and finish.
Oh, yes. Thank you, David, for mentioning that. Yes, Vincent has a very special birthday, 8 decades of life. So we're eternally grateful.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Bernadine. Mark, go ahead.
No, I was asking, re-celebrate
Mark, I think
February
your Wi-Fi is
because mine was on the 18th.
All right, happy birthday, Mark Smith.
His celebrating February birthdays because his was on the 18th.
Very good. Very good. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right. So let's move in. Thank you all for that. Harriet and our scholarship committee. Harriet Cowan.
Okay, yes. Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning,
Okay,
Harriet.
first of all, I want to just say thank you again and appreciation so much for the donors from the Watkins family and Danny Lynch and Marsha Kendall Smith. It was just a very timely time to donate and give us some support because we're facing a lot of challenges this year with the COVID and trying to ramp up the funds for these students. Good news, we're in the heart of the application process now. The online application, which is the new process that we're implementing this year, is going very well. We're very happy with it. There's a smooth transition. And so the students are getting ready for their interviews now this coming week. So for the next 3 weeks, we will be interviewing these students. And this is the wonderful time that we look forward to meeting each student and getting their personalities and their goals and dreams about going on to college. So it's a delightful time that we're looking forward to meeting these students. And so I think that's it. Yeah, it's all good right now. Just a lot of work.
Thank you, Harriet, and thank you to the committee. They're doing marvelous work. Education Committee, Jean and Linda Crump.
Okay, this is Linda Crump, and I'm going to start off the report. we're happy to report that we had a joint event with Ollie about the Divine Nine. I hope many of you were able to join in because it was wonderful hearing from Fran and Ray to represent the Divine Nine. We wish we had had more time. We would have had every member who is in one of these marvelous fraternities or sororities present, but we were trying to make sure that we could just do something that represented. And who's better than Fran and Ray? So we need to give them a round of applause for all that they did. Thank you so much. You were wonderful. The committee continues to work with Edna Sherrill's class, and thanks to David, some wonderful videos have been sent to supplement their material because they don't always get the whole story, do they? There's a lot left out that needs to be added. And so fortunately, we've been able to work with her class and do things. Again, a shout out to Bill Watkins. What a great way to do strategic planning. You know, when somebody says, let's do some strategic planning, not many of us start clapping our hands and say, woo, can't wait. But Bill made it really seamless. He made it easy to work with him. We're hoping for a speedy recovery from Bill, so send your prayers that way. And the last thing that I want to report just in general was our committee provided some material to Dan Boxer as he was trying to get the lynching memorial here, and we hear it's been approved. That's all.
That's good.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Excellent. Old business. I had one item under old business, and it was simply to make a reference to our virtual Black History Month events at the national level. Those here locally, I hope everybody has had an opportunity to engage. I think we're going to hear from Jean and Linda about Beyond Black History in a moment. So let's move there now. New business, Jean and Linda Crump again. Did we lose them?
Jean, you need to unmute.
David and I have been talking about what to do about Black history after February. And we came up with a plan to have Beyond Black History Month. And this entails getting members from ASALH to volunteer their time for a monthly Beyond Black History Association meeting on either famous Black people in history, inventors in history, doctors, lawyers, whatever the Education Committee plans to come up with. But it's designed to be illustrative of what Black contributions have been made to America over the 1619 project. And I think we want to do it kind of like what we did in Nebraska about Ask a Lawyer. We would have a particular topic with some volunteers from ASALH talking about the person or the topic of that month. And we would have people write in or call in or chat in about a question about that particular topic. I like to go with the Education Committee to flesh it out, to have a topic each month. And that's going to entail a volunteer or two from the ASALH membership to help us staff the committee or the topic. But it sounds exciting. David and I talked about it. We are trying to get the volunteers to man this thing, but the Education Committee will do the hard work and plan out the activities. So we would have Beyond Black History Month beyond February. You know, that is the outline, and I would think that the Education Committee could handle that charge, David.
Thanks, Jean.
David,
Linda, go ahead, please.
The only thing I would add to that is we're looking at a Zoom webinar platform, which is a little bit different than we've been doing. So we're looking into that. And, you know, I wrote down Vincent Rice's name today because I think he has something to say that would be interesting. And the only reason we're looking at this Zoom webinar, we'd really like to get the public involved in this too. And I found out there's some really great ways to send this out to the public so that we're thinking about our history and it's not just the month of February. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Jean and Linda. Don't need to persuade anybody on this call. that our history is 12 months long, 4 or more 100 years in length. Announcements. I think Fred White was going to talk to us a bit about Randy Rankin. Fred, if you would, please.
Well, before I get to Randy Rankin, thanks for your information. The Black Chamber of Commerce of Manatee, Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce is having 2 events next month. One is a golf tournament on March 20th, and they're also having a 2021 annual virtual awards gala, and Minnesota Asala is being featured as an honoree. So I have scanned those announcements. So if anybody wants information about those 2 things, let me know. I assume because we are a service organization honoree, we might want to attend that event. It's $50 a ticket for that. Anyway, I scanned the information. I will send it to anybody who wants to email me at fpw147@gmail.com, and I'll send you the information. With respect to Randy Rankin, it is not clear whether there's going to be a Randy Rankin activity this year or a holiday brunch, because we don't have anybody to head those efforts. So I'm asking for volunteers who want to do that. With respect to Randy Rankin and other sponsorship ideas I've been pursuing, and I talked to David about this, and I've sent information to Alan. There are a number of entities that are doing virtual activities, kind of like what Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce is looking at. I am looking at the fact that people are, everybody hasn't gotten their second shot yet. So face-to-face activities are kind of up in the air, but I am looking at some virtual platforms for card games. A lot of our members love to play cards, but that tends to be a face-to-face activity. I'm finding out from my wife and other people that there are folks out there who are playing bridge and mahjong and other card games virtually. And what I'm looking into is some way of, before the end of this year, setting up some virtual card games that we will allow people to play, to win trophies or prizes for a registration fee, which may gain us some of the money we have lost by not having Randy Rankin without the expense of Randy Rankin. So I'm going to get more information on that. And I hope to report to the body more quickly, with update next month. I noticed Linda Crump talked about Zoom webinars. So I'm looking into that kind of thing too. So I have been volunteered by David to be head of the fundraising committee. So anyone who has any ideas that they think will work for us at this point, particularly since people are doing fewer face-to-face things. I do see the Black Chamber of Commerce is doing a golf tournament in March. So that is still possible because more and more golf courses are putting up screens in their golf carts. But people aren't really looking forward to eating together in large numbers anytime soon. So I'm welcoming any idea, and I'm also looking for people who want to be on the fundraising committee. And that's it. Now, any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Fred. Appreciate it. Any questions for Fred? You know, you've got his email, and I know you'll be in touch. Any other announcements? Lois, yes. Unmute yourself, Lois.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. I made this earlier, and some of you might have heard me, but for those of you who joined us later, I highly recommend that you attend the performance at the Oslo. It's a one-woman show on Fannie Lou Hamer. It's outside. They have taken all precautions and for health reasons. So you're not close to anybody. You can't bring food in, and all of that is taken care of. But it's a very powerful, emotional presentation of what went on in Mississippi in voter registration in the late 60s. I highly recommend it. If you go online to get tickets and you purchase tickets, there's a code that says ASALA 15. And if you put that code in there, there are reduced tickets. So it's only going to be there until March the 3rd. So if you want to spend an evening outside, an enjoyable but a thought-provoking, emotional evening, this is the place to go. So I'm hoping that many of you will attend. Thank you.
Thanks, Lois. We did try to get that. Mary Braxton Joseph sent us the Oslo announcement, and we did get that to the membership, and we can try to do that again this weekend, so everybody has some direct reference. Are there any other announcements that we need to share with the membership as we close here?
I have one.
Yes, Jim.
There's currently an exhibition at the Ringling Museum of works by Sam Gilliam, one of the most celebrated African-American artists. It will be there for 6 months. And there are at least 4 Minnesota ASALA members that have pieces in that exhibition. So I would encourage people to go see it. It's really fabulous pieces.
Thanks, Jim. Any other announcements?
Mark, I believe Mark, do you have?
No, that's what I was going to announce. Thanks,
Okay.
Jim.
All right. Am I missing anyone, Marion? Hearing no other announcements, and Greg Matthews.
Yeah, I just have one announcement. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Lorraine and I are extremely proud to announce, pardon me, a spam call, not that. They are good. Are extremely proud to announce that our oldest granddaughter works for Kamala Harris in the Vice President's office.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Wonderful. It was in the senator's office, but when she became vice president, she applied for a position, and they went through a lengthy background check. They go back like 10 years. And so it worked out well. So we're extremely proud of her.
You should be. You should be. And we all know who to contact when we want to get tickets.
We want to get tickets to the museum or tour the White House.
That's right. That's right. Any other announcements for the good of the order?
David?
Yes.
I would just like to say thank you to all the people that came out to the diving purpose, with the purpose presentation last night by Eric Denson. Those of you who came last year may have seen him in face-to-face, and he came yesterday on Zoom, and it was an even better presentation. So we do plan to have him come again, but I just wanted to tell those of you who did log on to hear it, thank you very much.
It was excellent. Eric did a great job, and Lois did a great job organizing that for our partners at the AACRC. Any other announcements?
David?
Yes.
I just wanted to say,
Rita,
I know
yes.
that Gary mentioned the ASALA, Minnesota events.
Yes.
Minnesota Black Chamber. They are looking for FOSUM, so if anyone is interested in forming a force, please do let me know. And also, I am a member of the Minnesota Black Chamber. And so, David, are you going to be participating to receive the award?
Yes, yes, I will, Rita. And we'll get some more publicity out to the membership, Rita. I know you've got a flyer, and I know we've got some golfers here, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get 1 or 2 foursomes.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Yes, Doris, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank all of you for joining us on Sunday in the presentation of John Lewis's Good Trouble. So thanks again for joining us. This is from the Bradenton, Sarasota, Florida chapter of the Links Incorporated.
It was a great
was.
watch, great conversation. Well done. Well done. Any other announcements? This is a busy month, but we know March is going to be busy as well. Seeing no other announcements, then Chair entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Nobody wants to second it, so we'll stay on.
Second.
Seconded. Thank you all very much.
Seconded.
We'll be in touch with you.
All right.
Bye-bye now. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. We'll leave it open so you can wave at each other as we depart. Everybody be well. Get that shot, that second shot. Wear those masks.